Howdy, my name is Cody Hamilton, and I will be providing the impact of urban environments on honeybee health and behavior. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the introduction. I just want to start off by saying this. It blew my mind in figuring out that bees were not only great in rural areas, but actually better in most cases in urban areas. This was a statistic that I had no idea about, and I was honestly proven wrong, but I was joyful in finding out that I was wrong in this. Um, Bees sometimes thrive in these urban areas, and that's why I chose this topic because I don't think people know this enough. Because of the diversity that these cities can bring to these bees, they can have more resources, more things that they can delve into, and just more good that they can do overall that I'll be speaking on in this presentation. Um, Honeybees are vital for pollinating crops, critical for urban ecosystems. There is a give and take relationship that's great that happens within these cities, and it's a beautiful thing that I was able to research. And these bees can act as bioindicators showing environmental health. This helps scientists discover things that they can't see without the honeybees and their patterns, their decision making, their communications within each other. And they pollinate essential crops, which is vital for our diets and ecosystems, quoting Bonner. On to the next topic. Urban bees, higher honey production, and winter survival rates overall are better in this area. And just to go on top of this, I'm going to emphasize this again. Urban areas, surprisingly supportive for honeybees. This is crazy stuff. Urban bees give unique city-specific environmental insights, like quoted earlier from Wilson's and Jameson's study. Uh, they examined bee communities across an urban-rural gradient and find that urbanization positively affects bees' diversity and evenness, suggesting that urban environments could support diverse bee populations, which is crucial for effective environmental monitoring. And on top of that, another statistic that I thought was very important. It's noted that the prediction is nearly 70% of the global population will live in urban environments by 2050. So we're going to need to see how we can best utilize these honeybees um, so we can be able to grow into this higher population of urban living. On to the next slide. The role of bees. I thought this was clever. Hopefully, this isn't making you cringe. Six things. Cities as ecosystems. Bees utilize living and non-living components in urban settings. Research tools. Urban beekeeping offers insights to environmental health and biodiversity. Don't want to read through all of these. There's bioindicators. There's efficient sampling. There's floral dependency, and there's urban planning. What all does this mean? This all means that there's urbanization. Bee urbanization shows a positive correlation with bee diversity and evenness. Urban bees adapt and flourish in city environments, like mentioned earlier, and bees in cities help us understand urban biodiversity and ecosystem health, quoting Wilson and Jameson. Then there is a graph right here that I discovered um, of one of the research, of one of the articles that I quoted near the end of this. This graph depicts a positive correlation between urbanization and both species evenness. And there is math that I truly did not fully understand in researching this, but in looking through this, I saw positive motion and I saw mostly positive motion and only some negative motion. And that negative motion is the eusocial bee abundance that shows a negative correlation with urbanization. Solitary bees also increase slightly with urbanization, but within all of these bees, it does showcase that the honeybees normally do best in this, and that will fall under the above ground, the above or the eusocial bees and the above ground bees, but honeybees being a part of that graph and just providing more insight to bees in general. Um, Navigating through challenges in urban beekeeping. Um, Sustainable and skilled beekeeping is crucial in sites. This is something that I discovered in researching, but there can be a huge negative impact if beekeepers who do not know what they're doing hurt these bees and not only affect the bees, but affect the local ecosystem and city because of the fact that we discovered earlier these bees have more of an impact than just honey. They have an impact on 70 out of the 100 crops that we use on the daily. And they have impacts, of course, with honey. They have impacts with um, nature. They have impacts with all sorts of things that affect us on a daily basis. Urban beekeeping requires careful management to ensure the health of bee colonies, and these inexperienced beekeepers can harm bees and the ecosystem. So there needs to be proper education and hive management and bee health, because this is crucial for sustainable urban beekeeping, um, for both bee welfare and ecosystem health. Supporting urban beekeeping through initiatives. How do we back up our homie bees, our honeybees? I thought that was clever. Um, Bee Downtown promotes urban housekeeping through classes and corporate partnerships. They support urban beekeeping, such as they support urban beekeeping in partnerships in cities like Atlanta. There's corporate partnerships. Companies such as Chick-fil-A and Delta have installed beehives on their properties, promoting urban beekeeping, enhancing local biodiversity. And then the educational outreach. Astor Apiaries operating in NYC that conduct hive tours and sell local honey, educating the public about honeybees and their critical role in our environment. And this all just helps boost the local biodiversity and educates the community on how to not only live with these bees, but sometimes even be beekeepers and make sure that they're experienced so they're not hurting the ecosystem and hurting bees in the process, quoting Bonner. On top of this, honeybees, they're the unsung heroes of urban agriculture. They're essential for pollination in urban forests, impacting food security. Honeybees act as indicators of environmental health in urban areas. They support biodiversity and community engagement in urban development. These are all huge, huge things that we cannot look over. And if we were to look over this and not be thankful for these bees, then we're just doing ourselves a disservice, and we have to learn about these things and make sure that we're best educated on how great these bees are for our urban areas and how they sometimes thrive. And this is great to learn now, because as we're getting more urban, we are starting to discover that these honeybees are best suited for it, and they're built for these urban cities. They're built for it, which is really cool. So in conclusion, urban beekeeping not only supports the survival and proliferation of bee populations, but they also enhance green spaces, they foster biodiversity, and they promote sustainable urban living. It increases community involvement in environmental stewardship, making it a pivotal activity for modern cities aiming to enhance their ecological footprint and educate their residents on the importance of biodiversity. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day. Here are my references.